level 4 mobilization. Location, Fisk Tower.
Fisk? Whoa, no jam for that toast? Jeez, this new Spider-Man lives life far too close to the fucking edge for my liking. Welcome everyone to our newest arrival in the Intel room, Insomniac's, Marvel's, Disney's, Sony's PlayStation 4, Spider-Man. A fresh breath into the look of Spider-Man, and oh boy, does this boy breathe. As previously mentioned, at the helm for this dive into the Spider-Verse, we have Insomniac Games, a small indie developer responsible for such games as Disruptor, Outernauts, Fuse, Slow Down Bull, and Song of the Deep, which is by far my favorite. It's like Atlantis, the Lost Empire, and the Metroidvania genre had a baby, and that baby was a driver, and it drove right through my heart. Oh, they also made Spyro, Spyro 2, Spyro Year of the Dragon, Ratchet & Clank Going Commando, Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal, Ratchet & Clank Deadlock, Resistance, Ratchet & Clank Future Tools of Destruction, Ratchet & Clank Future Plus for Booty, Resistance 2, Ratchet & Clank Future A Crack in Time, Resistance 3, Ratchet & Clank All for One, Ratchet & Clank Full Frontal Assault, Ratchet & Clank Into the Nexus, Sunset Overdrive, and that Ratchet & Clank remake that was tied into the movie that no one watched, so it kind of threw the game off beat because most of the plot unfolds during the movie. Oh, Insomniac, what were you thinking? Oh, and Spider-Man. So, how did this love child of multiple companies come to be? Well, Marvel was like,
"Hey, Sony!"
And they were like,
"Yeah, Marvel!
"We need a game!"
We've got people to make that game!"
In comes Insomniac, and Sony and Marvel were like,
"Which Marvel franchise would you like?"
Spider-Man!
And so began the development for Spider-Man PS4. After 2 years of development alongside Marvel using Insomniac's in-house engine used to make Sunset Overdrive, we were graced with this. Now, without going too deep into the story, which was expertly written and leaving plenty for Insomniac and Marvel to build upon in the future, because if they weren't going to make a second one, listen, you'd be stupid not to. They drop you into Peter's life at the brisk age of 25, and just after having a second quarter-life crisis, not knowing how to pay his rent, which is now overdue for the 5th time, Peter, get your fucking shit together, man! Peter's come to terms with his life of crime-fighting vigilantism and being Peter Parker Boy Wonder, now nearly a decade after being bitten by that little radioactive spider. Through his trials and tribulations over the last 10 years, Peter's faced off against many of his old comic book foes and even bringing an interesting twist to his well-known story. The game ties together a few old stories while still crafting a new and intricate story of its own. You're dropped into Spider-Man right as the NYPD make their move on taking down Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin. After preventing the deaths of people working inside Fisk Tower and taking down Wilson Fisk himself, all seems bright and happy, but unbeknownst to Peter and the audience, by locking up Fisk, they released a siege onto the city of New York, now without its crime lord overseer. Except for Fisk. He saw that shit coming. Now Peter needs to take back the city from crime and find a way to pay his rent. And all this is just the setup for what unfolds to be an overall great story with many highs and very little lows.
For the millions of clicks I just got! Wow!
I'm looking at you, Screwball. What does it mean to feel like Spider-Man? You hear plenty of people say that the game makes you feel like Spider-Man, but what does that mean? Well, my definition of feeling like Spider-Man is a mix of fluidity and versatility. Insomniac delivers a smooth experience, web swinging and zipping around with gorgeous animation that gives you the impression that Peter's been doing this Spider-Man thing for a while and swinging has become as natural as walking. The more you play through the game, the better you'll get with traversing through the city of New York. And later on, the game tests your skills with time-side objectives that push even the most grizzled Spider veterans to their limits. Insomniac captured the feeling of suspending yourself from 2,000 feet in the air and hanging there. But the moment you let go of that web, you drop with the force of 1,000 suns exploding at once, and right before you hit the ground running, the media man begs to differ and spins his web as you catch yourself carrying your weight and continuing your momentum forward like a speeding bullet. The truth about this game's movement is that it truly separates this Spider-Man iteration from all the others that have tried and failed. Insomniac took what many would say were the best mechanics from Spider-Man 2 and merged it into their own spectacular creation. Now, I know you can lose yourself when you're swinging through Manhattan, but the one thing that doesn't seem to fail is 2-bit criminals who have no sense of respect for the fine folks in New York City or their property. You heed the call of the police radio and zip off to fuck up 2-bit lowlifes for trying to harm the people of your city. Man, when I say you fuck people up, I mean you fuck people up! The first moment you're thrust into battle is fun, smooth, and filled with one-liners that feel like they rolled off of Peter's tongue. Insomniac understood that unlike the familiar fighting style of the Batman Arkham franchise, Spider-Man isn't a master martial artist, nor is he limited to basic hand-to-hand combat. You know what? I think I know the perfect clip to explain this game's fighting style.
Hey! Unlock the thing! Take the chain off!
Hey, Freak Joe! You're going nowhere! I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of heat time. What are you doing up there?
Staying away from you. That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you?
The human spider doesn't just stand in front of his enemies, he's a luchador with super mutant spider powers. Spidey's got web shooters with gadgets up the wazoo and superhuman strength paired with reflexes that would make all us gamer boys and gamer girls kill for. Hot dog! With that, Insomniac gave Spider-Man a wide range of ways to beat, slam, disarm, and incapacitate his foes. Insomniac Spider-Man isn't a counter god like that of Rocksteady's Batman, instead he keeps his comic book roots and uses his agility and his spider-like reflexes to dodge incoming enemy attacks. The player can then lead into either a ground-based combo system, or even knock his targets into the air to take advantage of Spidey's aerial acrobatic skills, and pummel his enemies while floating 8 feet in the air. Not only does Spider-Man have the strength of 3 Arnold Schwarzeneggers in just one pinky, he has a cavalcade of different gadgets and combos to beat up bad guys in the streets and still have time to be a saying to MJ in the sheets. In short, Spider-Man is not only the most fluid movement in a superhero video game since the pinnacle of superhero games was released back in 2004 with Spider-Man 2, it is also given the most robust combat system for Spidey ever, with each hit or gadget used having weight and power behind them and every dodge doing what Gohan could never do. Get you out of the way of danger. As long as you don't dodge your way into an enemy's fist, you're all good. I've talked a lot about the good, but what happened to the bad and the ugly? Well, I could go into depth about some of the side missions getting a little repetitive, or the Screwball mission... Wait, all of Screwball's characters are bad and ugly, but besides that, experiencing the game for the first playthrough, even the small things that made the game not feel amazing, still didn't trump the overall great game. Hell, I spent 3 hours looking for the hidden picture collectibles, just because I felt like it. But like, Screwball? Yeah, fuck you. In part, Screwball's character and voice acting fit each other like a glove. It's just so damn annoying doing your stupid point-based missions. I just want my damn trophy. Stop making me get silver or iron again, please. Oh, also fuck the new DLC enemies with their lightning shields and big boys with bigger self-esteem issues with their fucking Gatling guns and... please. Can they not? That's the bad and the ugly all together like a gang of hoodlums wrapped up by Spidey, and I mean, it really is just that. Wrapped up. Insomniac does a marvelous job bringing the world of Spider-Man to your fingertips. With a well-thought-out narrative, stunning visuals, plenty of action and thrills paired with adventuring through the concrete jungle of New York City being all tightly wrapped up into a nice web ball with expertly done voice work. Spider-Man for PS4 demonstrates what the right team, a close attention to details, and your fans gives you. A reason to be greater. Well, hot damn, a video that's actually being posted on my channel. How long's it been? A year? 2? Jesus, I apologize for the delay, but hopefully I can push out more content than just 1 or 2 videos a year now. And if you haven't been following my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MG4R, then you would have missed out on more than just a year's worth of content, because I've been doing stuff on there that would equal out to probably more than 8 times the amount of videos I'll ever post on this channel. I actually completed Spider-Man on stream within 3 days of the game's release, 100% of the game in that short span of time. I've also been completing the DLCs as they release, live on the channel as well. With all that being said, I just wanted to thank you all for watching and checking out this video, along with a special thanks to everyone who's been supporting the streams as of the last year. Thank you.